Emily?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. It's nice and clear on this end.
Great. Sounds good.
Perfect. All right, Emily. Well, thank you very much for taking the time out of your night tonight to join us from Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, it feels good to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're in a place where a lot of other country musicians would like to be right now. How does that feel?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. What was that?
I said you're in a place where a lot of other country musicians would love to be. How do you feel about that?
Oh, it's great. Nashville is such a great place. I don't know if you've ever visited there before, but it is amazing. I mean, it just opens so many doors. And if you're definitely wanting to be involved in country music, Nashville is the place to be.
Talk to me a bit about how you got started in music.
I first started singing in a band in college, actually. A little local band in North Carolina called the Johnny Dollar Band invited me to kind of make a few appearances with them, and through that I was really able to kind of get my niche for it, and realized I really wanted to make a career out of it, and just really learned a lot of experience through that. And once I started doing that, after I graduated college, I decided to definitely move to Nashville and keep pursuing it. Since then I had done American Idol, and I went back and finished school, and then I moved to Nashville.
Talk a bit about your time in the band, and what are the things that you learned most about being in that band?
Definitely stage presence. I used to be the very shy singer who was afraid to, take the microphone off the mic stand, and I'm not quite that way anymore. If you ever come to one of our shows, it's all very high energetic, and just a lot going on and constantly a good time. So I definitely learned about stage presence doing that. I just grew a lot as a singer, and I made a lot of great friends with the band guys, and I met my husband that way. So it was just overall a really good experience for me.
Describe to me and the listeners, who are your musical influences?
I draw a lot of influence from everywhere. I really look up to a lot of the strong women of country music like Miranda and Carrie Underwood and Jennifer Nettles. I get compared to Miranda Lambert quite a bit, which is a huge compliment. But I also, it's more than just, being great singers. I really look up to them as songwriters as well. I co-wrote most of the songs on my album, so I really relate to their writing styles and the scenarios they're writing about. And then I grew up on the old school country. I'm a huge Tammy Wynette, Merle Haggard, Patsy Cline. I mean, all of that old school country, I really, really love that.
What has been the biggest challenge of your career?
The biggest challenge, I travel quite a bit. Pretty much every weekend I'm gone on the road somewhere performing, which means that I lose a lot of family time. So that's probably the biggest challenge, is balancing the two. I get homesick quite a bit. I come from a small family, and we're all very close. So when I first moved and started to tour constantly, that was something I really had a hard time dealing with, and now it's a little bit easier. I'm able to see my family more often, if that means, sneaking time to go back home for a minute to see them, even for a day, or if it means them meeting me at a show. But definitely being away from home and being homesick was the hardest thing to overcome.
How did you overcome being homesick then?
Lots of phone calls. I have an iPhone, so I FaceTime quite a bit with my family. I talk to my parents every day. Emails, Facebook is a great way to stay in contact with my friends and family. So I'm constantly connected to them in some way. And then, like I said, if it means them coming out to a show or me, jetting home real quick to see them for a day, I definitely try to make time to do that.
Now, you were a top 50 finalist on American Idol. What was that experience like for you?
It was about 5 years ago that I auditioned for American Idol, and I went to Hollywood for about a week. And again, made it to the top 50. And it was really hard. I mean, there were a lot of rehearsals. It was late hours. I mean, it really is boot camp for being in this industry. It really prepares you for what's to come should your career take off. And if anything, it really opened my eyes to realize that, this dream of being in the music business, country or not country, it's very obtainable. It just takes really hard work. But as long as you're willing to wake up every day and ask yourself, what can I do today to put myself further in this career, the reality of it is very accomplishable.
I guess going through that whole experience, I mean, what were some things that you really felt you grew from having been through the whole experience and having learned that, like, wow, there's so much more to this industry than I really thought?
Definitely. I was very wide-eyed the whole time I was there. I come from a small town. I was sort of the only singer in our town. I was a big fish in a small pond. And once I auditioned for Idol and experienced Hollywood, for one thing, is like another planet. I mean, I'd never been anywhere like that before. I was just soaking it all up, and it's just so very different from where I grew up. But being in Idol and being on the show, it made me realize that there are hundreds and millions of people trying to do the same thing I'm doing. And it quickly made me step back and realize that I'm a very little tadpole in a huge ocean, and I didn't quite realize how many people were out there trying to do the same thing I am until I had been through the Idol experience.
Having learned that, was there something, did you realize I need to do something different to separate myself from the rest of the tadpoles?
I think I just realized that staying true to yourself. American Idol is very big on stories and you as a person. It's great if you're a great singer, but they want to be interested in you. They want to know what you're going to say next. They want there to be a story there that kind of draws people to you. And I think if anything, I realized more that I am A, definitely a country singer, and to B, stay true to that, because a lot of people are out there doing different genres on the show, and you sort of start to get confused. This girl got really great remarks, and she sang a pop song. Should I be singing a pop song? And it sort of starts to play with you. But I think through it all, if you just stay true to yourself, and I realized that I'm supposed to be in the country music business, that was the biggest thing I took away from it.
Now, you mentioned a little bit earlier that you moved from North Carolina to Nashville, really actually shortly after you appeared on American Idol. What was the biggest factor, I guess, in you deciding to move to Nashville?
Well, after Idol, I went and finished school, and I moved about 2 weeks after I graduated from college. I just realized that I'm very young. I'm 24 years old. I still have a lot of life to live, and I didn't ever want to wonder what if. I went to college for education. I didn't do anything with that, and I knew I probably would never do anything with it. And moving to Nashville really, kind of broke that barrier. Now I can never say, well, I wonder what would have happened if I had done it, because I am doing it, and I'm way happier doing this than had I have stayed back in North Carolina and, probably tried to get a teaching job or something.
Talk to me a bit about your self-titled EP. What can listeners expect to hear on the album?
It's a lot of fun. It's definitely a, turn it up really loud and roll the windows down kind of song, kind of album, I'm sorry. And I wrote 4 out of 6 songs on the album with a few friends in Nashville. And like I said, it makes you want to turn it up and dance and have a good time. And it's very relatable. There are really feel-good songs on it. There's also some songs about heartbreak and, kind of finding yourself through it all. And it's something that everyone can relate to, male or female, no matter how old you are. I think it's great.
What was the hardest part about coming up with the album?
The hardest part in making an album for me is choosing songs, because there's so many great songs out there. I had to weed through my own songs first of all and decide, what I was ready to record and what I wasn't. And then I'm being pitched a lot of songs from other wonderful, talented writers in town, and just weeding it out and deciding what to record and what not to record is the hardest thing, because you'll have 20 songs that you think are amazing, and if I had it my way, I would record an album with 100 of the best songs, but I didn't have that option. We chose to do 6 for the album, and that was definitely the hardest part, was choosing, which songs were going to make the cut and which we were going to have to put on the back burner and think about with the next album.
How did you determine which 6 would make the cut?
I definitely wanted to use most of my own songs, to not only showcase my vocals, but also be able to, really sell myself as a songwriter. Songwriting is very fun to me. It comes easily. I enjoy doing it. So I definitely wanted to use those songs. And, they're kind of your babies, and you want to perfect them, and then you want to put them out there for everyone to listen to. And I thought that was the best route to go, was to kind of use most of my own songs.
What's the next step for you in your career then?
I'm touring a lot right now. I'm going to keep touring. I just signed with new management. Actually, a good friend of mine, Chris Keaton, out in Nashville, is now my new manager. And so you're going to see me on the road a lot more than I am now. And I'm already burning up the road, every weekend. So I'm going to be working a lot harder and being gone a lot more. But I'm still writing, so hopefully we will start to put together new material for a new album.
You mentioned earlier in the broadcast here that you're frequently and you're constantly on the road. Do you have any shows coming up in the very short future?
I do. I do an annual New Year's Eve show in North Carolina, my hometown, and that's kind of great because it's a good way to connect with my friends and family. And I've done it for the past 3 years. And I'm going to keep doing it as long as they invite me back. But I really have a good time doing that, and it's a huge, celebration and party that everybody attends and sort of plans their entire, New Year's Eve weekend around it. And then January kind of slows down for me. I tend to take a lot of January off to reconnect and just kind of relax and rejuvenate myself and really take a break, because I spend February through November gone constantly every weekend. I'm somewhere. So I take a lot of January off, and then come February, the tour season will pick back up.
When you travel a lot, do you travel far outside of Tennessee or North Carolina?
I travel to North Carolina quite a bit. I also travel. I've traveled, through Virginia and through Georgia and down to South Carolina. We've played. We're going to do a show in Virginia this year, and we've been invited to as far as Jersey. So there really is no limitations for how far we travel. I personally like to travel as far as I can and to as many different places as I can, because it really gives me a chance to see the world through a windshield, and it's always nice to discover new little towns and communities.
You probably just touched into my next question, which is, what is your favorite part about being able to travel and tour?
Definitely experiencing new towns and meeting new faces. The best thing you can do in this industry is to tour, because that's the way you're going to reach your fans. And doing that through touring is probably one of my favorite things, being able to expose new people to our music, and just being able to, if we've got some time off in a town, to be able to hang out or grab dinner at a local favorite spot. And it's just nice to discover new places.
How do people get a hold of you on social media?
I'm a big Facebooker and Twitter. I have a lot of followers on both, and that is a lot of the ways I keep my fans updated with what's going on with me. And then also my website, emilyminer.net, always has my tour posted, always has music and new videos uploaded. There's also all kind of phone numbers you can contact, or email addresses for bookings on the website at emilyminer.net. And then, like I said, Facebook at Emily Miner fan page is the way I keep up with most of my fans, and then Twitter at Emily Miner Music.
Anything else you want to add tonight before I let you go?
You check out the album on iTunes. Definitely go download it. I worked really hard on it. I'm very proud of it. I think you'll like it. If you like, Miranda Lambert and Carrie Underwood, it's definitely something you'll want to check out. And then also, if you've never seen us on the road, come check us out sometime.
One last quick question before I let you go, and you probably just heard it in the background there. Talk a little bit quickly about your song, Good Luck Finding Me.
I wrote Good Luck Finding Me actually about a friend of mine who was in a relationship with a guy who kept kind of breaking up with her and using the excuse that he needed to find himself. And she just came to me for advice and said, what should I do? And I told her, I just tell him, when you finally find yourself, good luck finding me. And as soon as I said it, I realized I had written a song. And I sat down with my friend Kip Williams, and we wrote it. We cranked it out in like 15 minutes. And it was definitely more of the high energy songs on the album, and something we thought everyone could relate to. And that was the first song we chose to be the single.
All right, Emily. Well, thank you very much for taking the time out of your night to come join us here on Radio Nation.
Thank you so much for having me.